Have you ever stood over your raised beds at the end of the season and thought, how in the world am I supposed to afford filling this again? Prices keep climbing, don't they? A single yard of compost barely covers anything. And the worst part? Even after spending the money, sometimes the soil still doesn't improve the way you hoped. That's because, honestly, constantly topping off beds with bagged compost is like putting a bandage over a nutrient problem that your soil could actually fix itself if we'd just stop getting in its way. There's a smarter, cheaper, and far more productive method that gardeners used long before garden centres existed. This winter shortcut transforms tired raised beds into rich, living soil factories by spring. It doesn't come from a store, it doesn't cost a fortune, and it doesn't require turning or hauling heavy loads. If you want healthier plants, fewer pests, stronger root systems, and deeper harvests, especially in raised bed systems, this is the secret that makes soil biology work for you all winter long. So let's break the cycle of overspending and start doing what master growers do instead. Most raised beds suffer because, well, we treat them like containers instead of ecosystems. Here's the truth. Compost breaks down incredibly fast in raised beds. Water drains quickly, heat increases decomposition, and oxygen exposure, speeds everything up even more. What looked like a perfectly topped-off bed in autumn turns into a half-empty box by mid-spring. That's because your soil is constantly being eaten by microbial life. When biology is active, soil shrinks down as organic matter becomes plant-available nutrients. Filling with compost addresses the symptom but not the underlying deficit. Your raised beds don't need more store-bought compost. They need an ongoing source of organic matter that keeps feeding the microbes instead of starving them. And winter, surprisingly, is the best time to fix that. Instead of topping beds off with compost, the solution is to build a winter mulch stack that breaks down over several months while the bed rests. This isn't just a covering, it's a soil-building engine. You layer materials high now, so that winter microbes can convert them into rich compost right there in the bed where your plants actually need it. This technique replaces expensive deliveries with what your garden already produces for free: leaves, trimmings, stems, grass clippings, kitchen scraps, spent crops, and animal bedding if you have access to it. Everything you normally toss out becomes the fuel that feeds next year's soil. The goal is to create depth. When the material collapses in spring, you end up with soil that's darker, richer, and far more fertile, without ever hauling a wheelbarrow full of store-bought compost. At the end of the season, gardeners often yank out every plant like they're erasing the evidence of a long, hard summer. But pulling roots disrupts the underground ecosystem and steals away carbon that was already captured in the soil. Those roots feed microbes for months. Only remove diseased plant material. Everything else should stay put. Stems, roots, fine roots. It all stays working as buried organic matter. You're not cleaning up a mess. You're preparing a meal for billions of microscopic workers that will transform your bed while you rest. Leaves are one of the most powerful free resources a gardener has. They are loaded with minerals pulled up from deep in the soil by trees. When shredded or layered with other materials, leaves decompose into a nutrient-dense humus that is nearly impossible to buy at any garden store. Straw works exceptionally well too. It lets air and moisture pass through so microbes don't suffocate. And as it breaks down, it adds long-lasting organic structure that raised beds typically lack. Here's where the shortcut becomes supercharged. Microbes need nitrogen to break down carbon. Without it, decomposition slows and materials sit there unchanged, sometimes into summer. Your most available nitrogen sources include grass clippings, coffee grounds, kitchen vegetable scraps, aged manure, and green garden trimmings. If you don't have these now, just collect them little by little throughout winter. Worms and microbes will find them and get to work even in cold temperatures. The goal isn't to make a compost pile, it's to compost directly where roots will grow. Microbes need immediate access to the new organic matter. A thin layer of existing soil or compost on top introduces the biology required to kickstart the breakdown process. This prevents matting, promotes airflow, and speeds up nutrient cycling. Dry organic matter doesn't break down, unless there's enough moisture. Moisture is really key. If your winters are wet, nature does this for you, no problem. But in dry or windy climates, you'll want to cover the bed with a natural fiber tarp, a cardboard sheet, or maybe a breathable weed fabric, just to hold in that moisture without suffocating the biology below. Snow, rain, frost, every bit of water, honestly, helps the system transform waste into nutrient-dense soil. When spring arrives and the soil warms, worms rush upward, dragging nutrients deeper with them. It's pretty amazing to see this natural process in action. By the time you're ready to plant, the bed has sunk down and your soil is newly alive. You'll notice faster plant establishment, thicker root systems, stronger early growth, and noticeable improvements in water retention. The soil will crumble instead of compacting. That's because you didn't just add compost. You restored the entire soil food web that makes raised beds productive. So this winter shortcut isn't just a one-time fix. It's really a yearly habit that helps you avoid having to constantly buy more compost. Over time, your raised beds will build deeper fertility, and actually, they'll rise higher, not lower, as organic matter keeps on accumulating. You're transitioning from a gardening model driven by inputs to a system driven by nature herself. That's what real garden mastery looks like. So this winter, don't waste money filling beds with bags of compost. Build your soil in place, use what your garden leaves behind, and let winter do the work for you. If you want more soil-saving methods like this, make sure you subscribe, hit like, and share this video with a gardener who deserves better results without spending more money. Your soil is alive, and when you feed it right, it will repay you with harvests you never thought possible.